Happy Thursday, everybody. How's it going? We're back with Sonny Boy. It feels like it's been a minute, but it hasn't been a minute. We doubled up last week on episodes, so we're definitely up to date. We're not missing time. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hey, Pipe AX. So I don't know how to call it. It feels weird. It feels a little weird, but we're here. We're here. More Sonny Boy. We left off last week with 2 episodes, and it's the first time. No, it might be the second time. What's up, Ascendant 01? Have a good one. Appreciate you for stopping on by. This might be the second time where I didn't rewatch. It's been like the story. If you've watched anything from me the last 2 weeks, you'll hear me talk about work is busy, and work has been busy. It's the first time I haven't rewatched, so I'm just working off of what I saw last week. I don't remember any names, but I do remember like we had reached a certain point and what we were thinking with on the what is war and what is like all the different like comparisons that we possibly could have made between characters. And it's interesting. It's interesting where they left us off. Ever since episode 6, like you don't know where this series is going, because once you unveil that they're essentially stuck here, we don't know if they're truly stuck here forever. And the whole plot that ended in like the whole storyline that like kind of like came around full circle in episode 6, it's just like, all right, well, what's next week gonna be? Oh, we're gonna do this. And what's the week after that gonna be? Oh, we're gonna do this. So we're kind of in the same situation where we ended last week, where last week was mostly a flashback with I don't even remember the dog's name, but with him telling us his backstory on how he was a wanderer and meeting that girl that had the ability to just like direct anything. I think that was her ability, to direct anything. And running into war, and then the subsequent death of every single person that was like connected to that girl. It was like a lot of craziness, and it was all like while we were on some adventure with Mizuho and Nagisa. Goodness. I'm trying. And while Nagara, hold on, I've confused myself. Who's the girl and who's the boy? It's Nagisa and Nagara. Nagisa is the boy and Nagara is the girl, right? I've confused myself so badly. But they went on like this whole time, like this whole 2-week journey. Like who is who? I forgot who was who. Like who? Nagara is who and Nagisa is who. No, gosh, I didn't know. Nagisa's, I'm sorry. You could tell I've had a day, right? It's Nagara and Nozomi. Too many characters with the name, they sound the same. Nozomi. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, I know who is who. Nagisa's from, sorry, it's from Assassination Classroom. It's the second time I've done that. But like we went on this whole journey of, we went on this whole journey, and while we were getting the story, I can't remember the dog's name. And when we get back, Nozomi's like, it was like 2 weeks past for no, like it was a weird like passage of time where they ended up out of sync, and Mizuho and Nagata were late, and like it was a bunch of weirdness. So it's kind of just like I feel like it's setting up for something. It's just like we don't know what it's setting up for. I don't know. Figured out who Nagisa is though. I figured out who Nagisa is though. Ay. Had a day. But that's the second time I've done that. For some reason, like the Nagisa, Nagara, Nozomi. There's why would you name those two? Why would you name those two characters so similar? Like their names are so similar. And then it doesn't help that I'm watching another series where like the naming conventions, the naming structure sounds the same, so now I get confused. I'm sorry. I'm pausing the music. I'm shutting up now. We can figure out what's going on in this episode. Um Sonny Boy, episode 9. We're gonna get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Nagara and Nozomi, they start with an N. It's similar enough. It's similar enough. What? What is going on? The cats can talk? Do they just talk when no one's around, or is that what they just sound like when they're meowing and whatnot? And what's the deal with this white cat? Oh, she was one of those kids. I can't take it. That's hilarious. Yamabiko, I couldn't think of it. What is she doing? Is she eating the cat food? Or is she eating like a cat? Are we gonna get to see how they even do this? I wonder if he can understand them. That's a good question. Can he understand them? Who is this? Huh? Seiji? So we've passed time. Well, of course we've passed time. We don't get to see it. Okay. It's like, of course we passed time, but we've already passed enough time where they've introduced themselves to other people, received a task, and then gone, and now, okay. Thousands of years? Okay. Are we serious? I hear him. You know, I would have been said something to him. I would have been very petty. I would have said something. I just realized that was the sign for the camp. I would have said something like super duper petty to him. Like, this is your fault. Even, I would have. It's not the right thing to do, but I would have done it. Did he was he like those koi? What was that? What? Rude. He's beating him with food. What? What? What is happening? Well, that's busted. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. So they just been stuck. They both activated. They don't go anywhere. Why did they choose the sumo wrestle? Who's gonna touch first? Touched at the same time. Or not? Did he really get him? Wait, what? My internet, my video froze. Why? Why? It always. Why? So stupid. So dumb. What do you mean they're not twins? It's the same person? Okay. So this is like the Mauler twins. That gun is so detailed. Like more detailed than anything else that's ever been in the series. You can't talk to them. Now I'm wondering, can they hear him? Interesting. He won by. Oh, that's really good. He won by a hair. Wow. I'm gonna have to rewatch because I was paying attention to this conversation, but I was kind of a little lost by it. So essentially, what she's you Indians is something else. Okay. So Rajdhani figured it out first, eh? Oh, there's two copies of the game. Gotcha. Hmm. Was he really? He's giving the cats lie detector tests? Idiot, don't answer. Lion. Liar. She is like, you are an idiot. Really now? So hairless. That is so funny. She is like, you idiot. You still talking. Oh no. Oh no. Oh gosh. Say something. Say something to him. Well, it don't work like that. You know what's insane? If all of these kids use their powers together, they probably could just make the world all over again. It's no good. That's no good. I hope nothing bad happened. I really do. This is no good. No good. No good. I don't think it's a toy. You're gonna have a duel? Yes, they're gonna have a duel. Holy crap. Then I would have tested it to see if it shot. I wouldn't just take it. Who knows what happened? Oh, snap. Oh! Look at that. Look at the boy. I was gonna say, did he get? I thought he shot first. I figured. I figured. I figured. I didn't say anything, but I figured. I figured he was gonna do that. Okay. What's up, Enryu? There's fights in this anime? I thought it was about school and depression. It is about school and depression. It's more so about. I can't tell you what it's about. If I'm being honest, I haven't figured that out yet. Like, what is the theme that is gonna string from the beginning to the end? We can come up with some theories and hypotheses, but I don't know what the true through line of the series is supposed to be. I don't know. But to get the we got the hint. I don't remember what episode it was, but we got it was like a small glimpse, or it was like a hint at Mizuho's power was very important. It was around that around episode 3 whenever we got the what's his face? Was that that was episode 3 whenever they were talking about like her and the teacher and all that stuff. I felt like around that time, like episode 2, 3, 4ish, like from like the imagery and what we were hearing from characters, it kind of felt like her power was much more important. So to get the confirmation from the cats that the reason why that, well, according to the cats, according to the kitties, the reason why they want to drift is because of her. Like, I think some of the, like, someone that, okay, it's starting over. Some of the, they were saying that someone who was at school did this. And it's her. I don't know. I don't know if the kitties are right or not, but, like how that vibes and gels with all the, principal stuff we saw, if it's connected, if the kitties are just saying that. But I don't know. Not just her, but her power could have been one of the reasons. Gotcha. And the kitties kind of let Nagata get thrown under the bus. It's like, we can't let Rajdhani figure this out. We'll let Nagata go through this. We'll let everyone go after him. But we got to protect our girl, which makes sense. I don't know. I like this episode, but it's one of these episodes where it's like, what episode does it feel like? It feels like episode 7, where, like, where does this play into the bigger picture? Right? What, like story progresses, and everything, but where does it play into? Ever since episode 6, it just feels like episode 7 and this episode, just, it feels like nothing, and no singular thing that's happened in this episode feels like it can contribute. There is nothing to contribute anymore. So that's where I'm kind of like each episode would like stack on top of each other and compound until we climax in that first story with figuring out like what the principal and stuff was telling us. But since then, it's kind of like, you know what? We're here. We're not going anywhere no time soon. So it feels like there's nothing to build to. Like, watching our trio and seeing everyone else leave and all of that, it feels like we're watching the beginning of how every single other group of kids, every class that was copied and sent adrift, it feels like they all started out this way. That we went through this initial thing, and then I think they've already said in show that our group has gotten like really close. Like, they were really close to getting out of here, but we didn't. So it feels like every group possibly started off like this, where they went their separate ways. We're going to figure this out. We're going to get out of here. And then it's been thousands of years, and either you just kind of like give up and just go to living. You just live as normal of a life as you possibly can. And it feels like that. It feels like as we continue going on, like Rajdhani went off by himself. Hoshi and the rest of the committee and those people, they got into the black little cube thingy. I forgot what it was called, and they left somewhere. Aki and Asakaze, they have like their camp thing with a few kids, and they're going around doing things. And then we have our trio with Yamabiko, and we're going around doing stuff as well. But it just feels like there's no telling how, like, now for the first 6 episodes, like as we were nearing episode 6, it just feels like we're skipping, like, right, we keep skipping time, and we can't tell how much time is skipping. But now, even more so, it's hard to even tell. Like, it's hard to even tell where how much time is passing if they get out. Like, I don't like, it's kind of hard. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. It kind of just feels like we're going on an adventure now. That's why I feel like I needed to rewatch the last 2 episodes in order to kind of like some of these questions that I feel like I need answers to. I might be able to fill in the blanks if I rewatch the last 2 episodes again and I analyze them like we have done every single other episode almost. So I don't know. Mizuho, Nozomi, and Nagata's personalities keep progressing. They have been, yes. They have been. I don't even know what that was in response to. I don't remember what I just said. I don't even remember what I just said. I said something, but I don't remember what it was. Something about like settling in and settling down. Like if I was saying something along the lines of it feels like every other group has started off the way they started off and then kind of like tapered off. I don't know if our trio will go through the same thing, but have we made, I don't want to say breakthroughs, but how like our trio, how much progress have we made? No one wrote anything on episode discussion last week. No, nobody did. I usually probably, like if I rewatched, I would have hopped in there. I didn't rewatch it and hop in. No one said anything, but so I don't have an opinion on it. But like, why are these 3 out here? That's my whole thing. Where did Hoshi and everybody else go? And why are our trio? I think I remember them saying like they wouldn't let, like, I don't know if that was a joke or anything, but I remember the line that they said Mizuho wouldn't be allowed onto the ship. I'll call it the ship, that black cube thing they were flying around in. I remember that line that she wouldn't be allowed in. But like, where did they go? Aki's always talking about some stupidness, so whatever the heck she's doing. But then, like, what is our trio doing? And Rajdani's just like out on an adventure in the ocean. Like, I'd have to rewatch that episode again in order to get a better grasp on exactly what we're doing. Like, I will say, watching the war episode, I didn't understand why we were leaving. I missed that part. Like, why did Mizuho and Nagata and Yamabiko go off on an adventure and then come back and then Nozomi, like, it seems like they left, made plans with Nozomi and then came back and then they were going to do something like Nozomi needs space. I don't know. So it's like stuff like that. I don't know. It's like stuff like that. I don't know. And I will say, I said this in episode 6, even when, because I thought episode 6 was the last episode. It's weirdness with this show and me. But with this series, I will say my one complaint. I don't have many complaints about this series. I like the story. I like the characters. I like the mystery around the story and trying to figure out what exactly is going on. I like all of that. And when I say this, I understand why we do it, because time isn't like an issue in this adrift like this world and these worlds. Thousands of years can go past and nothing, like, you're not aging, nothing's gonna happen. So we can just be free with how much time passes. We can have characters leave and they've gone through a lifetime of events, but for us it's been a day or two, right? You can do like stuff like that happen. So I understand that, but my one complaint is, like, yes, time is like free and it flows differently in different worlds. I get that, but I'm getting used to it, but it's still kind of jarring when we start an episode and it feels like, oh, they're out here, they're talking this and that, and then when you're listening to them, it's like oh, so they're in the middle of something that we have no idea what's going on. So now what it feels like is like, and like, I'll use this episode for an example and you can like tell me I'm wrong or whatnot. But what it feels like is our trio ended up stumbling back into Asakaze's group with Misaki. Talk to them about, I don't even remember their names, the 2 twins, but the copies of each other. Ran into them, talked to them about it, went out there, and then stumbled into the other one and then came back and then had a discussion about something, when I feel like in all actuality, like when you first stumbled back into the group, all the conversations that we talked about their abilities should have happened, and then we should have went out there. That's what it kind of feels like. But it feels like for the sake of us not being there, they didn't have that conversation, went out there, ran into the other dude. They ran into the dude that had the polar bear head, and then went back and then talked about it, and then was filled in so that us, the viewer, can know exactly what's going on. That's what it feels like. Like we pass so much time. Like I don't even know how much time we're passing in between episodes. Like it was like between episode 4 and 5, we passed 2 months. So now it's like I mentioned it before, you're playing catch up and trying to figure out what's going on. So it's like this story is already dense and confusing as it is. So now whenever you just dump me into an episode and I have no idea what's going on, I'm supposed to understand what these characters are doing that they've already been doing, pick up on that while trying to catch the intricacies of that, while then also trying to figure out what's gonna happen coming up due to the actions that they're currently doing. And it's like this episode we did it again, and it's my one complaint. I feel like so much time passes, right? So much time passes. Like we don't have any indicator on how much time passed in between last episode and this episode. I don't know. I kind of don't like that. It confuses me. Like, yes, I can watch it more than once and I can understand it, but for a first watch through, like, do I enjoy it? I gotta watch it twice in order for me to get like a true enjoyment out of it, in order for me to truly understand. Because for me personally, when I'm watching something, I'm trying to, like, as the episode's going on, I want to understand exactly what's going on, and then we figure it out. It's like I'm spending half the episode playing catch up, and I'm not actively enjoying what I'm watching and taking in what I'm watching. I'm like I'm over processing everything. Like I'm over processing it. And now in the back half of the episode, I'm like, well, damn, they probably said something that I've been overlooking because I'm trying to think about exactly what's going on. Do you need to know how much time has passed in between each episodes? No, I don't, but I would like to see the beginning of these altercations. Like, this show consistently drops us in the middle of things. I feel like once or twice, cool. Not every single time, damn near. Like, they dropped us in the middle of this conflict between these two copies. They dropped us in the middle of the group split. Like, the class was a class that was fractured, and then the next time we seen it, it was 3 distinct, concise factions. What the hell happened? Like, what is happening? I don't want to play catch up halfway through the episode and then keep watching it. I feel like yes, I can rewatch it. I understand that. But as far as first watch through, I don't know. I'm not sure. I like the show because we sit here for hours and we analyze it, and it gets better and better with each watch. But first watch, I gotta rewatch this again because I don't remember none of this. I don't remember none of it. I remember the end. Like, I remember up until, I don't even know, when Yamabiko walks up to the cats and she's like, oh, you can understand us? How long you been doing that? Everything else before that's a blur. Like, it took me a second to even realize that oh snap, we ran back into the camp. Like, it didn't even dawn on me. Like, I seen Asakaze and I'm just like, yeah. And I was like, oh snap, that is the camp. Like, it's I don't know. I feel like that is the weirdness for me. That's where it kind of just like, I'm just like, I'm playing catch up, trying to understand what's going on. Like, I just want to go into one episode and, like, from start to finish, interact with see them first encounter, deal with issue, conclusion, and then we leave. It's always they meet, they start, and then the episode starts, and then we continue to the end. So now it's like I'm repeating myself. It's like I'm just like, well, what the hell is happening? Like this. It's like, okay. Sometimes it feels like the conversations that the characters are happening in episode possibly could have happened before, but because it's like, but because we didn't get to see it, they don't get to have that conversation. Then you get to watch them have that conversation. Like, I feel like some of the stuff they talked about in this episode, they should have talked about before. Like like I'm pretty sure it's like they were out there. See, I don't even remember. I have to rewatch. But I'm certain they was like, oh snap, this is the camp. Yada yada yada. We ran into them. I can't even say I'm pretty sure they did, because according to this episode they didn't. So what did they do like when they ran into the camp? What did they talk about? Like, why did we set up camp and then all this stuff happened and then we talk about the stuff? I feel like that's maybe some stuff we should have they should have talked about like in the time we didn't see. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. It's like the monkey baseball episode. Yes. Like the monkey baseball episode, like as we keep going on, that's probably my favorite episode of the series so far. Like, no lie, the monkey episode. The one where I'm sitting there so confused. It's the most confused I've ever left one of these episodes. And it's probably my favorite one. Because it's like we started off, I don't know what's happening. And then it's just like Cap starts talking and I don't know what's happening. And I don't know what's happening. And then I don't know what's happening. And then it concludes and I don't know what's happening. So it's just like from start to finish, we have encountered this whole I don't know what's happening. This is weirdness. And then upon rewatch, you're like, I think I get it. I would like more of that. I would like more of that. I feel like this could have been I like this episode, but if we would have like started off the episode at a campfire, and then from the campfire, like we could have done like all of this, like campfire, cats talking, etc., 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 and then we could have run into the camp, and then we could have gotten the whole sit down, all that stuff. Like it could have like played the same way. But unless I'm completely wrong, they had already like talked to them at least once before this. I think it would have been cool to just start the episode, run into them, deal with the copies, conclusion, and then bang, and then they get in their school bus, they close their stop sign and they drive off. It could have been some, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Platinum N? I don't know anything about it. I'm probably not gonna watch it. Not up my alley. A bunch of people react to it though. It's got Death Note attached to it. A bunch of people will jump on it. Probably not me though. Not my thing. I'll probably watch it like, Lord knows, 4 or 5 years from now. Be like, man, this is really cool. I'm late. But it's not my thing. Yeah, I'm not saying these episodes are bad because of it. It's just my one complaint and my enjoyment of watching a show. Like, very rarely do I like when, like, and it's something that I've discovered really because of this show. Like, it's just like, I don't like this style of, like how they decide to tell the story is dope. Like, the imagery they do, the symbolism, the analogies, all of that. How they storytell is good. Right? Like, how they storytell is good. But what I've discovered because of this show is I don't like coming in the middle of things. I've realized that. I don't like coming in like, if 1 through of like 100% is like 0%, 1% is when we meet these people and the interaction starts, and 100% is the completion of this interaction. I don't want to come in at 15%. I don't want to come in at 20%. I don't even come in at 5%. I would like to start at the beginning. I'm realizing that. Like, this series made me realize that I don't like coming into the middle of something and then trying to figure out what happened before and what happened after. There are very few instances of movies and TV series that do that I'm okay with it. Very few instances. But it's something with that style of dropping us into it. I don't know. And this is nothing new. I've been complaining about this. It's just I'm able to word it a little better, I feel like, now. I've been complaining about this episode 4. I think I've been episode 3. I want to say I mentioned it, and if not 3, I probably mentioned it in 4, and if not 4, I mentioned it in 5. Something I've been mentioning for a while now. It's just I feel like I can better like vocalize it. We've been encountering Asakaze since he stayed behind. One day they were going to come back, right? It was a summer camp, if I recall correctly. But then I ask, I ask, if it's a summer camp, when is summer camp over? Like, now I ask that, like, when is summer camp over? Because they could go somewhere where time crawls and summer camp will never be over. I don't know. Like, for us, we could have gone through a whole year of stuff and they've never come back. It's stuff like that. It's weird. It's weird. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That's just questions I ask. Well, now it's snowing, so I assume it's over. But they got on a bus and they kept going. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but they've also been traveling, so we don't know if they went to another world or not. Summer camp could possibly still be going on. Who knows? Like, I don't have an issue with that. I just have an issue of, let me mute this. And let me just scan through this episode again. Muted. But I'm looking at this scene again. It made me remember that the kid with the glasses that we went to back in whatever episode that was, that had the book on everybody's abilities, right? I remember when they left that one of our trio had the book. I don't remember if Nagara had it, Nozomi had it, or Mizo had it. One of them had the book. Because I remember, like, he was up on the thing and looking down, and they, like, kind of, like, smiled and gave a head nod. If that was the case, if you're ready, here we go. Is this something that they've been updating? So, like, do they have the book and they're updating? Sorry if I'm yelling. Forgive me. I got excited. But are they updating this book? Or was his power in this book is this the same book that they had? And if his power was in that book, then why the heck was nobody questioning him? Like, you get, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off in that. Maybe I'm just 100% off. I could be. I don't know. Or maybe I'm stupid. Maybe this kid wasn't in our class. I don't know. I feel like they're not, but I'm confused. I have no idea. I feel like this kid's not in their class. because they've been fighting forever. So I don't know. What makes me feel like they've wandered into another world? I don't know. I don't freaking know. Nagara has it, I think, since he wrote over it. Since he wrote over it and after he knew more about his power. The same book. Okay. I don't think this includes a part of their class. That's why I'm like, I could be confused. I am confused. I'm an idiot. I don't know. I don't know. I 100% have to rewatch this episode again. I think I'm just gonna rewatch not the next 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes again. Like I feel like I have to do that because I'm slipping. I didn't rewatch the last 2 episodes, and then I'm going. And I said it. I was like, I'm going into this episode without rewatching, so I'm rusty and I'm confused. I just have to rewatch all 3, and then we can come into episode 10 fresh. We can come into episode 10 fresh. At the end, Aki wasn't like I don't remember. Hold on. Let me just get to that point. Aki wasn't mad when he killed himself, right? That was Asakaze that was mad. It was Asakaze that was like, I think that was her plan in the first place. We can safely say that her plan was to get him to kill the copy and therefore kill himself because of his ability, right? If Aki we said that at the same time. I promise you I didn't read yours and then ignore it. I promise you I didn't read yours, ignore it, and then act like it literally popped up at the same exact time I was saying it. It feels like she did this on purpose so that so that he could kill himself, and that his ability I don't know. Like that it was so weird. What's up? How are you? It popped up literally as I was saying it. It makes me it's weird because this is the second time now where an individual who's had a very busted ability, something to do with manipulation of the world. This is the second time where we've seen that person be killed. It happened this week and it happened last week. This week it was Aki that was doing it, and we know that Aki is kind of like she's like an agent of the president, right? Not the the principal, right? She's like an agent of the principal, and she did this and kind of like disposed of him. And then last week we get to see War, but War's whole thing was that he wanted to kill the principal seemingly. But he disposed of an individual that had an ability that was so stupid. It was dumb, like what her ability was. And I said it, did I say that after the reaction or during the reaction? Where it's like, if all of these kids that have these world bending abilities work together, I feel like they could just create their own world. Like if Nagara, Asakaze, I don't even remember his name, this kid, like like this kid and then the girl from last week, like if all of them worked together, like they all like channeled their powers together and like step by step worked it, they probably could create a world. Because Nagata, what is Nagata's exact ability? He's creating parallel worlds, right? Is that what he's doing? Or is he creating copies of those worlds? It's something, I know he's creating, or is he just creating worlds? I can't remember, but if like he can create worlds, it's like you have Nagata create, what's up Gabriel? He creates the base world. And then you have someone like Asakaze that can seemingly manipulate worlds, and then you combine it with the girl last week that can direct. So she can direct Asakaze's manipulations. And then I don't know who else we could combine it with. But if we start to create worlds and do that and we mess up, we can use this kid's ability from today. If we mess up, to reverse and go back. And then like that didn't work, we could try like if they all work together, they literally probably could create exactly where they want to be, exactly where they need to go. They probably could do it. Who knows? I feel like all their powers work in conjunction with each other. I don't know. And then you could populate the world with Mizuho, right? And Yamabiko's power seems I don't exist. And it's like you can use a Mizuho's power to populate the world because like she literally can just make copies. So if you wanted to, like you could just have her make copies of every single person from their world that they came from, the real world, and populate this world that they created. Like you could do that. And you literally, it's kind of in a sense, I think I'm coming up with this idea because all I've been watching today is Matrix stuff. They literally could like create the Matrix. Just a world that they monitor. And if anything goes wrong in the world, this kid, he could have just reversed, enacted his power, and bang, it doesn't happen. We could just go back and we could just redo that. Like it feels like that could be something that happens. I don't know. You really could. They really could feel. I feel like they could create. It really feels like they could create an entire world. And it feels like one by one, they keep dropping off like flies. The ones that have these busted abilities. So it makes me feel like, are they going to try to take, like they've already attempted to get Nagata to just like Aki kind of like went the soft way. Then give him a gun and tell him, and essentially give him the green light to just do whatever. But it makes me wonder, could they possibly be after him? Could they not after? No, they could be. Matter of fact, he is supposed to be dead because the Bat Kid let him go. Now I'm steady talking. I'm remembering more. Like the Bat, like he's supposed to be dead. They were supposed to get him, and they were gonna execute him because he was painted as the person that sent them adrift, sent everybody adrift, everybody ever. So it makes me feel like there's some sort of like agenda or something out to get every single person, right? To get every single person that has an ability to manipulate or create worlds, to eliminate them so that there's no defiance. You could have any other ability, it seems like they don't mess with you. But so far, every single person that has like some OP hacked ability with world creation, world manipulation isn't here anymore, or they're being controlled. I don't know. That's very wow. I think you might have did something. You might have did something there also. The power to direct all things could direct Nagara's power to pinpoint. I feel like if the two of them could have hooked up and gotten together and used their abilities together, we could have seen something crazy. Because Nagara kind of feels like, in a way, like you can apply like the power structure of Jujutsu Kaisen onto like this series as well, a little bit. Like Nagara just has like a strong curse energy, because like how the power structure in Jujutsu works is like you have curse energy and you just release curse energy, right? You release it and it's just crazy. It goes crazy. But then if you use a curse technique, you can condense and control the crazy and then channel it a certain way. So it's like Nagara's is kind of like boop world, boop world, boop world, boop world. But then if you take someone else's ability and you funnel his ability to create just randomness, and it's just like, well, as you create, I can take it and do this with it. And then I think you could have done something. Yeah. I feel like this is a campaign to take out every single person that has an ability to manipulate the world. I think that's what this back half of this series is, and we've been seeing it ever since episode 6, episode by episode, almost episode by episode. We've met a character that has some stupid ability to manipulate the world. Because like episode 7, did we meet anyone that can manipulate the world? We had the Bat Kid that created the Tower of Babel. So that's kind of similar. But then in episode 8, you meet War, and he has the ability to take traits in different worlds and merge them into existing worlds. And then you had the girl who can direct. She can direct the world. Like, she can direct things in the world. She can bend things to her will, kind of like if you dumbed it down. And then this episode, you get to meet this kid who can reverse the world. Right? It's like, it's been episode after episode after episode after episode of just individuals who have these crazy abilities. By chance, too, they all ended up different places at different times for reasons being, if they were all together, their powers. Yeah, I feel like that could be like what the through line through the back half of this is. I think so. Now I want to rewatch every single episode. Now I have to rewatch every episode. Have to. I feel like that's too much of a coincidence. I feel like it's too much of a coincidence. I feel like it's too much by coincidence. Like, it's too much of a coincidence that each episode has that. I feel like that's an actual like story through line. Is it by chance? I would say in the structure of this world, I think it is by chance, because I don't think he gives them their abilities, right? He's not like traditional, like a traditional god. I don't think he's like the one that granted them their abilities. I think they have their abilities, and it's just kind of like he mentioned it, like rolling the dice. Like he mentioned that in episode 6, I believe, when he was talking to Nagara. I don't know. Well, I think that it's just an assumption, right? We have no idea. I think I'm leaning more so on the side of he has no control. Because if he did, why do it in the first place? Maybe he's bored, who knows? I just feel like he doesn't have any control because of, well, it's hard to say because we don't know what these adrift worlds and how they compare to the real world. We don't know what the 1-to-1 is. We don't know what it is. So I'm not sure if like each person is predetermined a power that they receive, and then they're like predetermined a class that they're gonna be in. But if, oh, excuse me, that's why I'm thinking I don't think it was planned. I don't think he has a control in it, because if each power is just randomly like it's like a lottery system of who gets what, he can send the class adrift, but he doesn't necessarily know what classes go where. Like if there's a probability of this class and last year's class running into each other because they were the consecutive classes to go adrift, like it's hard to know. And I don't think we've had any. Have we had any situations? That's a good question. I don't remember. But so far, post episode 6, have we run into anyone that, like, has any of the characters run into other individuals that have gone adrift that they know from school, that they know was in school? They might not have been in the same year as them. Like they know Aki, but I don't think they knew Aki was a student of the school. They figured that out later. But have they, like, so like, say if me and my class, like say if I was this year's class and Pipe was in, like if I'm, okay, so my class, like the class of 2021 is graduating, right? They're graduating, but at the beginning of their year, they went adrift. So it's like they went adrift, but then that class continues on. Is it possible, like, has anyone, so like say if like the next class, so like Pipe's class, so Pipe graduates in the year of 2022. The start of her year, she goes adrift. They, like, the class continues on, graduates. Like say me and Pipe knew each other, so like Pipe knew me and I knew Pipe. Has Pipe, when Pipe goes adrift, has Pipe seen anyone from the class that was in front of her, so my class? Like, so far since episode 6, has anyone run into anyone from a future class or a class behind them? So it's like, I know you, you're so-and-so, you're from XYZ class. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what I was talking about in the first. I do. About like the probability of like certain classes meeting each other. That's why I feel like he doesn't have any control. Yes, the one in the Tower of Babel. I gotta rewatch. I don't remember. Nagata knew him from before, didn't he? I don't remember. I have to rewatch. This is why rewatch is necessary for the series. I don't remember. Honest, don't remember. Because I think it'd be interesting. The guy with the umbrella. He did, but the guy knew him too. And that's from when they were kids. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. That is true. But Nagata didn't remember him. Did Nagata eventually? I don't think Nagata remembered him. I think the guy remembered Nagata. And that's why whenever the whole situation blew up about him, he took it into his own hands and he kind of passed judgment on his own because he knew him. He knew him from before, but I don't think Nagata remembered him. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, maybe later in the episode he started to remember him. Maybe when they I think he did start to remember him when they sat down and they had the conversation at the end when Mizuho showed up. At the end, yes. So yeah, that's the first time. I think that's cool. I think it'd be interesting to see, and it's hard. Like, what I'm more so like trying to say, and it all would depend on what the class was. So like if I want to drift this at the start of the year, and then I run into someone from the class that was ahead of me that want to drift. They say it's about 8 months. That's what they said, 8 months or a year or so, until like it sets in that you're never leaving, and then everyone usually goes off wandering around all the different worlds. What it like, and this is where the time flow thing is weird. So like, say if they stay, like say if like the original class stay, like say if Nagara's class stayed on the beach, they never moved. Like even if they tried this event, they never moved. And then eventually they decide to venture out, and they run into the next class that want to drift, but they run into them like very early on. They run into them. So now we have two classes that have gone adrift at almost the same time. I wonder if there's any possible way that those two classes that have experienced the same phenomenon so close together, time-wise, how that would work. Like, would there be an easier compatibility? Would it be harder to be compatible? Like, I don't know. But am I making sense in what I'm trying to say? I have no idea. I don't know. Wonder if there could be something there, like if a new group of people, a new class showed up, and if it's only been, well, we don't know how long it's been. If I had to call it, it's probably been like 2 years since they've gone adrift. It was 8 months. It was 8 months in episode 6, and we're in episode 9, and there's no telling how much time has passed since then. I say 2 years. I say 2 years. We're either in the process. We've passed the year, I think, of how much time has passed, and I think we're in the middle of that year and a half, 2 year of how much time has passed since they've gone adrift. I don't got anything else. Oh gosh. Don't fall over. I don't got anything else. Good episode. I have to rewatch this episode. Oh gosh. Throat's dry. I have to rewatch this episode because I feel like there was something in here I 100% missed. I 100% missed not even one thing, possibly a multiple things. Depends on a lot of, it's like a lot of circumstances. I don't think they would meet so close in time either. It's just like a lot of circumstances would have to happen. Like they would have to be in a place where time doesn't flow as fast. And then they would have to, like, I'm thinking that when a class first goes adrift, or it's making me feel that when a class first goes adrift, that they seemingly are isolated until they reach a certain point, and when they reach that point is when they venture out. You know, like, does that make sense? I didn't hit loop on my music, huh? That means it's time to stop talking, I guess. It's over. Like, does that make sense? Like, does that make a little sense? Because I think it's interesting that episodes 1 through 6, we were so focused on escaping and getting out. It's a sign. Sign to shut up. But like, am I the only one that thinks this? Episode 1 through 6 We were so focused on trying to escape and trying to make it back to the real world. We're talking about Sonny Boy here. It's hard to make sense of all of this. um, like we're so focused on trying to go to the back to our own world that we just stayed on this island. And granted, Nagata was just creating worlds all over the place. Lord knows, Nagata created that ocean world that had like the monsters that was trying to take him, and they saved them. He created that world, and someone probably wandered into it and died. Who knows? But hold on. I always gotta say something, and I always lose my chain of thought. I always end up losing it. Hold on. Oh gosh. It's gone. Wait, hold on. Oh no. Okay. I don't remember it fully, but I remember a part of it. But it's something about like it opens up. That's what I was talking about. And I think what I was trying to say, it feels like we were so focused on trying to go back to the real world, to their world, like the world they came from, that they're not necessarily looking for certain things, but like, where are they? Like, you get what I mean? Like, we spent a vast majority of time where it feels like things were closed off to them on that island, and now like we're just wandering and we're going places. Where are we going? How are we doing it? How does anybody do it? Like, how does anybody just wander around? How can they just adventure places? I don't know. Because it feels like if that were the case, how come we didn't do that before? We're everywhere. Like Mizuho, Yamabiko, and Nagata left the island, left the beach where they were, just went somewhere, and then came back. Like, they knew where they were going. I don't know. Like, it made like how? Where are they going? Where are they walking to? How are they traversing these worlds? Like, are you just like it? Like, is it just like I'm walking down like this valley, and then all of a sudden the entire environment changes? Is it like? And was that last week's episode? Where, do you remember when like he was telling them the story? Am I making this up, or did I actually see this, or was this a part of his flashback where they were in like this crystal place? Like, they were in like this crystal place and like this palace, walking up these stairs and stuff. It wasn't like crystals, but it was like a lot of colors. Like, where are they? Like, where are they going? I believe it's Nagata that's taking them somewhere, plus Yamabiko did travel through many worlds. So, like, my question now is, are only certain people allowed to transverse through different worlds? Because we know that Yamabiko traveled between worlds. Did the girl from Yamabiko's flashback also? It sounded like, because I remember babbling about it last week about like she said that she traveled and wandered around too, like her group did. So like, is it only people that have the ability to manipulate? Are they the only ones that can travel? Is every single world, like when you go adrift and you end up in this void and then you get dropped into a world? See, this is where it loses me. I don't know. This is where it loses me, because at the beginning of the series and made it feel like Nagata was the one that created the beach, and that's where they were. Right? And they were on the beach because Nagata created the beach. But like, so when any other class goes adrift, are they just in darkness, or did Nagata take them to darkness, and then they because they wanted to get out of the darkness so bad, they found? I'm confused now. He basically travels through different worlds too. I don't think so. My interpretation is that anyone can if they try hard enough. However, there's no way of knowing where you'll end up unless you have a way to go back or something. That makes sense. But it's kind of like, up until this point, the only people we've really seen transverse through different worlds were people that had abilities to mess with the world. It wasn't until our literal world opened up post episode 6 that we've heard of individuals just transversing and traveling just all over the place. What it feels like, I think it's the best analogy or best comparison to make me like wrap my head around it, is what it feels like. It kind of feels like a series that is set in intergalactic space that has been discovered and all of this stuff, like in like something like a Cowboy Bebop, where the entire solar system is inhabited, or like The Expanse, where it's like the entire solar system and all these various different places in space are inhabited. Like, we can travel, we can warp travel, we can do all of these things, and we're so far away from like Earth, where we come from. And like, it's how I can imagine it. It's like all of these worlds, or this world, exist, and it's like you can go to them, and it's just like you get further and further and further from where you originated from. I don't know. It's kind of like how I can view it, and I can like kind of make sense of it a little bit. However, I'm making sense of it. We're going by the assumption that Nagata was the cause they ended up in different worlds. I'm not sure if they all happened to drift to a similar world than they did. That leads me to the question of, that means every class must have an individual that has this ability. Not the same ability, but a similar ability. Because, like, does each class go adrift in a different way? Because our class has multiple individuals that possibly could have been the individual that sent us adrift. So, does every class have that one person that possibly is the reason why we got sent adrift? Each one has. I think so. I think it's safe to say each class has a worldly bending ability. I think that's an accurate assumption, because it just, at that point, it makes you like, if you don't think every class has a world bending ability in it, then it leads you to believe that this class that we're currently in is a special class. Because otherwise, how did they end up there? I don't know. How did you end up there? How did any other class end up there? If this class of 2021 had no person in it that had an ability to bend the world, what sent them adrift in the first place? Because you have Mizuho, who can copy, you have Nagata that can create, you have Asakaze that can manipulate. You have three different individuals that have like these like they could be the reason why they went adrift. Maybe Naga was able to create worlds beforehand, just like Mizuka made copies for him, but he just didn't realize until they ended up in it. I don't know, but there has to be a reason why they went adrift, right? Like an ability seemingly has to have sent them adrift. I don't think they just get ejected into these worlds. I think an ability sends them adrift. All the different kids start developing abilities. Some develop them before they go adrift, some after, and one of those abilities sends them adrift. I think that's the structure of how it goes, right? So if we use that, I think that's the structure. I think that's the structure of how it goes. If that's the structure, and if a class doesn't have an ability in it, then how do they get ejected into this universe of different worlds? This infinite like space of different worlds. I don't know. We're literally so close to find. I feel like we're not babbling for no reason. I feel like all of these babbles, we've said the answer and then just kept talking. Maybe Naga didn't put them adrift. His power combined with other certain powers. AKA Muzo's and maybe Nozomi's anyone else's made it happen. I guess so. Maybe a combination sends them adrift. I guess. But like I wouldn't think, looking at the kid that's like a bat, the umbrella bat kid, I wouldn't think that he had that ability, like looking at him. I don't know. Rajdhani was right there, but it's true. He literally was about to figure out exactly what was happening. It feels like the cats know what's happening and they just are going along for the ride. No, they're not going. Correction. They don't want to go back. That's the cat. Like, well, the woman cat doesn't want to go back. She does not want to go back. She's like, we can't go back. So they're cool with just all of this nonsense that's happening. They're cool. The cats are cool. They're fine. So it feels like the cats knows what they know what's up. I think it's also interesting that Yamabiko turns into a dog and he can speak dog. Or he can speak animal. Not dog, he can speak animal. That's funny. Cats are smart, I tell you. This isn't me, but an individual probably could go in the rabbit hole of like, what exactly are those cats? Were they people that turned into cats and then they went adrift, right? Did some, I don't know, you could go down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to, because I don't think that's the case, but someone could go down that rabbit hole. Someone possibly could. I think that's all I got. Yeah, I thought that was all I had, but now for sure. But for sure, I think that's all I have. There we go. I think for sure that's all I got. Will I rewatch tonight? I may rewatch tonight. I don't know if I'll rewatch in the Discord. That's just gonna take too damn long. Because I would assume that stream will probably double the stream. Damn, I'm at hour 40. I finished watching the episode at 40 minutes. Not even. Yeah, about around that time. We've been chatting about nothing. What's up, Jerry? Rewatch, man. I got here late. I'll rewatch later. I'll probably end up rewatching in the Discord. But I want to rewatch 7, 8, and 9. because I'm fuzzy on details that 7 and 8 might have showed us. Just picking up some stuff. So I'll reassess. I may come back in a couple hours from now. I'll stream it in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, hop in the Discord. I'll keep you guys posted. No work for me tomorrow, but I don't want to stay. I don't think I want to stay up too late tonight and then like be late with tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of an important day. So I'll keep you guys posted for sure. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. That's all right. And yeah, this was a good episode. This definitely was a good episode. It really was. I don't even remember the kid's name. What was the kid's name that had the ability, his reverse ability? I forgot. All show said it and I forgot. I'm scrolling up in the chat. That's too far. I don't know. I don't remember. So, Seiji. Okay. Yeah. He had a cool ability. His story is pretty interesting too about the clone thing. But because of their experiences and how they live, they stopped being similar. That whole thing about him winning by a hair, I didn't catch that. Pipe literally had to tell me. I had no idea. But when I'm looking back at the scene in my head, when it's flashing to both of their faces, you could see the one strand of hair sticking out. I didn't know that literally meant. Excuse me for that nasty cough, but I didn't know that literally meant he won by a hair. That threw me. Threw me for a loop. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna stop babbling. I suck at ending streams. I'm thinking about streaming in the Discord. I'll definitely do it. Keep you guys posted. And so I'll see you guys next week for episode 10. That's pretty much it. So thank you. I'll see you and peace out.